Book number 9. The Kite Runner by Khaled Hosseini was published in the aftermath of America's invasion of Afghanistan and is an emotional story of regret and redemption, friendship and family. Taking us from Afghanistan in the final days of the monarchy through the invasion of the Taliban, The Kite Runner is the heartbreaking story of the unlikely and inseparable friendship between a wealthy boy and the son of his father's servant. It has been challenged for the following reasons: offensive language, being sexually explicit, and unsuited to its age group.
He was walking towards us, hands on his hips, his sneakers kicking up little puffs of dust.
Good morning, Coonies. Fag.
That was another of his favorite insults. Hassan retreated behind me as the 3 older boys closed in. They stood before us, 3 tall boys dressed in jeans and t-shirts, towering over us all. Asef crossed his thick arms on his chest, a savage sort of grin on his lips. Not for the first time, it occurred to me that Asef might not be entirely sane. It also occurred to me how lucky I was to have Baba as my father, the sole reason I believe Asef had mostly refrained from harassing me too much. He tipped his chin to Hassan.
A flat nose. How's Babalu?
Hassan said nothing and crept another step behind me.
Have you heard the news, boys? The king is gone. Good riddance. Long live the president. My father knows Daoud Khan. Did you know that, Amir?
So does my father. In reality, I had no idea if that was true or not.
So does my father.
Camille and Wali cackled in unison. I wished Baba was there.
Well, Daoud Khan died at our house last year. How do you like that, Amir?
I wonder if anyone would hear us scream in this remote patch of land. Baba's house was a good kilometer away. I wish we'd stayed at the house.
Do you know what I will tell Daoud Khan the next time he comes to our house for dinner? I'm going to have a little chat with him, man to man, Mard to Mard. Tell him what I told my mother about Hitler. Now there was a leader, a great leader, a man with vision. I'll tell Daoud Khan to remember that if they had let Hitler finish what he had started, the world would be a better place now.
Baba says Hitler was crazy, that he ordered a lot of innocent people killed. I heard myself say before I could clamp a hand on my mouth.
He sounds like my mother, and she's German. She should know better. But then they want you to know that. They want you to believe that, don't they? They don't want you to know the truth.
I didn't know who they were or what truth they were hiding, and I didn't want to find out. I wished I hadn't said anything. I wished again I'd look up and see Baba coming up the hill.
But you have to read books they don't give out in school. I have. And my eyes have been opened. Now I have a vision, and I'm going to share it with our new president. Do you know what it is?
I shook my head. He'd tell me anyway. Asef always answered his own questions. His blue eyes flicked to Hassan.
Afghanistan is the land of the Pashtuns. It always has been, always will be. We are the true Afghans, the pure Afghans, not this flat nose here. His people pollute our homeland, our Watan. They dirty our blood. Afghanistan for Pashtuns, I say. That's my vision.
Asef shifted his gaze to me again. He looked like someone coming out of a good dream.
Too late for Hitler, but not for us.
He reached for something from the back pocket of his jeans.
I'll ask the president to do what the king didn't have the Kuwait to do. To rid Afghanistan of all the dirty Kasif Hazaras.
Just let us go, Asef. Hating the way my voice trembled. We're not bothering you.
Oh, you're bothering me.
I saw with a sinking heart what he had fished out of his pocket. Of course. His stainless steel brass knuckles sparkled in the sun.
You're bothering me very much. In fact, you bother me more than this Hazara here. How can you talk to him? Play with him. Let him touch you.
He said, his voice dripping with disgust. Wali and Kamal nodded and grunted in agreement. Asef narrowed his eyes, shook his head. When he spoke again, he sounded as baffled as he looked.
How can you call him your friend?
But he's not my friend, I almost blurted. He's my servant. Had I really thought that? Of course I hadn't. I hadn't. I treated Hassan well, just like a friend, better even, more like a brother. But if so, then why, when Baba's friends came to visit with their kids, didn't I ever include Hassan in our games? Why did I play with Hassan only when no one else was around? Seth slipped on the brass knuckles, gave me an icy look.
You're part of the problem, Amir. If idiots like you and your father didn't take these people in, we'd be rid of them by now. They'd all just go rot in Hazarajat where they belong. You're a disgrace to Afghanistan.
I looked in his crazy eyes and saw that he meant it. He really meant to hurt me. Asef raised his fist and came for me. There was a flurry of rapid movement behind me. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw Hassan bend down and stand up quickly. Asef's eyes flicked to something behind me and widened with surprise. I saw that same look of astonishment on Kamal and Wali's faces as they too saw what had happened behind me. I turned and came face to face with Hassan's slingshot. Hassan had pulled the wide elastic band all the way back. In the cup there was a rock the size of a walnut. Hassan held the slingshot, pointed directly at Asef's face. His hand trembled with the strain of the pulled elastic band, and beads of sweat had erupted on his brow.
Please leave us alone, Aga.
He referred to Asef as Aga, and I wondered briefly what it must be like to live with such an ingrained sense of one's place in a hierarchy.
Put it down, you motherless Hazara.
Please leave us be, Aga.
Maybe you didn't notice, but there are 3 of us and 2 of you.
You are right, Aga. But perhaps you didn't notice that I am the one holding the slingshot. If you make a move, they'll have to change your nickname from Asef the Ear Eater to One-Eyed Asef, because I have this pointed at your left eye.
He said this so flatly that even I had to strain to hear the fear that I knew hid under that calm voice. Asef's mouth twitched. Wali and Kamal watched this exchange with something akin to fascination. Someone had challenged their god, humiliated him. And worst of all, that someone was a skinny Hazara. Asef looked from the rock to Hassan. He searched Hassan's face intently. What he found in it must have convinced him of the seriousness of Hassan's intentions, because he lowered his fist.
You should know something about me, Hazara. I'm a very patient person. This doesn't end today, believe me.
He turned to me.
This isn't the end for you either, Amir. Someday I'll make you face me one-on-one.
Asef retreated a step. His disciples followed.
Your Hazara made a big mistake today, Amir.